baskets to start basketball, and in 1865 they brought some sheep barriers up and started the hurdling. The World and American record belongs to Roger Kingdom, set in the famous Weltklasse meet in Zurich, Switzerland.
And there you take a look at lane 3. Dietmar Koszewski from Germany looked very effective in winning the semifinals yesterday, one of the two semifinal races. You mentioned Roger Kingdom went on to win the gold medal, so one of the many athletes from these World University Games who won the World University Games and won the Olympic gold in an event. Koszewski was 5th in the '89 World University Games. He faces a tough challenge from Glenn Terry, Larry. Terry, 4th in our national championships, looks so effective. Ran personal best in the first round, had his fastest time ever yesterday in the semifinals, although that was wind
The adrenaline is flowing. You can see he gets very pumped up. He's a very demonstrative type guy. Had a terrific high school career and a great one at Indiana. There you see the lane assignments. Koszewski is in lane 3 that you can focus on. Glenn Terry will be wearing the white top, the red and blue also colors of our uniform in lane 5. Larry Harrington, an interesting story, working in his dad's restaurant right now in North Carolina, not attending school, but still improving, hard to do. This is a pretty wide open race beyond the fact I think Terry is the class of the field.
If Terry runs the way he ran in the first round in semifinals, nobody will touch him. The guy looks like Greg Foster out there. Greg Foster, the 3-time world champion. And Glenn Terry, just barely missing the U.S. team this year for the World Championships, has been looking for races. And I think with the times he's been running here, he'll have no trouble finding them.
While we have a second, let's talk about something that is not often clarified easily. Wind affects races like this on the track, and world records get affected. They have an expression that they use, and it's always in meters per second, the wind at your back or in front of you, and they have a wind gauge halfway down the track, which will gauge exactly what the wind is for the athletes. According to the flags now, they'll be running into a headwind. If it is a tailwind, the maximum allowable tailwind is translated to 2.0 meters per second, and in layman's terms, that's about 4.5 miles an hour of tailwind is allowed for any kind of a World University Games record or world record. They'll be running into what appears to be a slight headwind.
The key for these athletes is adjusting their race pattern to the wind conditions. The wind has been at their back in the early rounds. That often pushes them into the hurdles. They have to do a quick turnover of their steps. They'll often practice by putting the hurdles closer together. When the wind is in their face, it usually doesn't cause quite as many problems.
Keep an eye on lane 3. Koszewski from Germany, 6 feet 4.5 inches tall. Many of these guys are 6 feet tall or better. And Glenn Terry himself, almost 6'4". He is in lane 5.
Well, I think he's like 2 pounds.
Quick gun by the starter. And it called him back. That's interesting. I'm not sure anybody broke. I don't know whether people were leaning.
It was a bizarrely fast gun, as you mentioned. Normally, every starter has his own pattern, his or her own pattern to start. But the runners get used to the fact that they'll normally be held in the set position. These guys had barely come up to the set and the gun went off. If anybody moved early, it may have been Larry Harrington, 3rd from the left of the screen, who seemed to move more quickly, but he may just have reacted to that fast gun more quickly. We were shocked. I think the athletes were a little shocked.
Yeah, very true. What you'll sometimes do if you attend a track meet, to get to Craig's point, is people who will be running the subsequent heats, if it's in the early rounds, will practice taking the starts away from the running area here to get used to that starter and what his rhythm is.
You mentioned Larry Harrington working at his father's restaurant. The restaurant is called Larry's, which is probably a place you'd like to eat, huh?
Just send me down to North Carolina. 10 hurdles, 3.5 feet high. If you're 6 feet tall, they come up to about your 4th rib to give you an idea of how these guys will climb over them. Watch how rhythmically they do it. Getting to the first hurdle in your rhythm, really important.
Now this time, somebody was leaning forward. It was Harrington.
Guntis
Again,
Peders
3rd
also
from the left. He was leaning a little bit too far forward, so the starter did the right thing by telling them to stand up. No one was charged with the false start the first time. Whether they'll charge Harrington this time or not is the question. And this is a key moment. Almost all these athletes are young athletes, 22 years or younger, And it's very important to maintain their composure now. They were ready to run the race the first time. You see Glenn Terry still exuberant, but trying to get back within himself. Think about his race pattern. Think about what he wants to do up to that first hurdle. It's all important. It's tough now with all these distractions to refocus on your race.
The difference between a good start and a bad start can be the difference at the finish line of 1.5 feet and victory.
1080 and 1036. Well, I think you thought you were going to foul.
Lanes 3 and lane 5. Good start. And it's Terry and Koszewski. And it's Terry in the middle of the track with a slight lead. Glenn Terry holding the slight edge. And it's Pechonkiun. And here comes Koszewski nailing him over the last 2 hurdles. What a finish. I'm surprised Terry usually holds up well there.
No wind at all. Glenn Terry seemed tentative throughout the race. He did not have that confidence that he showed in the earlier rounds.
Dietmar Koszewski, a 1992 Olympic semi-finalist, comes through at the end. He sounds like some kind of a javelin thrower with his roars. Watch him begin to gain here. There's
and there you can see on the last 2 hurdles, Glenn Terry hit both of them. Koszewski was clear, and he ran away to victory. Watch on the left of the screen as they come to the last 2 hurdles. Glenn Terry hits that one, readjusts, slams that one, and that was just enough to let the man on the right win.
Coming up, more exciting hurdling action. We've got the 1,500 meters for you as well. Exciting action here at Track and Field with many Olympians. Let's go back to John Saunders.
All right, guys. For the gold medal, Glenn Terry of the United States comes away with the silver.